The Nintendo Switch. It might not be my favorite system, but throughout the past 6 years that it's been out for, it managed to leave a really strong first impression on not just me, but millions of gamers across the world. And while the Nintendo Switch may be a bit underpowered in this day and age, it does have some features that the turbocharged PS5 and Xbox Series X doesn't. Some may be unique and interesting, while others may be not so good, but still fairly unknown, so that's something, right? And no, we will not be mentioning anything about the whole becoming a home console from a portable feature here. That's way too obvious and boring. I'd rather shed some light on Nintendo Switch features that are fairly unknown when discussing the system, whether it's good or bad, which unironically is exactly what I'm going to do today. The Nintendo Switch is far from being anything more than a simple tablet that plays cartridges if the aging hardware simply hasn't proven that already. But with Nintendo always surprising us with cool and unique features on each of their systems, even on weaker hardware, and features that are features, I thought it'd be a better time than any to mention those for today. 6 as a matter of fact. Now these features aren't exactly crucial to the system. They may be features that some games on the system take advantage of, but usually doesn't play a major role in many of them. They may be features that aren't used in any games at all, but instead on the system itself. Or they may just be something that barely anyone knows about and doesn't play a major role in either a game or the overall system. And while I was interested in mentioning some of the cooler ones here today, I thought it was also important to mention some of the more not so good ones as well, because yeah, sure, why the hell not? So, without further ado, let's discuss 6 often forgotten features of the Nintendo Switch. I'm running out of stuff to talk about for this system, please help me. The Nintendo Switch Joy-Cons are like TV remotes. They're annoying and they're easy to lose. And when you take into account just how small these things are, you could see what I mean. So it is very exciting that I can finally talk about the Joy-Con Finder located in the controller settings of the Nintendo Switch home menu. If you somehow forget where you put the controller, just tap the icon on the menu of which controller it is you want to find, and each time you tap it, it'll make a loud vibration sound leading you to where it is. It's incredibly useful, helping you find something that can be pretty easy to lose if you're not careful, though the only downside to this is if the Joy-Con batteries are either really low or dead, that might complicate the process a little bit. So the main way to connect the Nintendo Switch to your television is by sliding it in the dock. But once you've done so, it might connect to the TV, but the TV doesn't turn on afterwards. Guess who's pissed? But that's where a little feature that automatically turns your TV on after you turn the system on, whether it's by sliding it in the dock or turning it on via the Joy-Cons, comes in. And thanks to this feature, your television will always turn on if your system is on, as long as both are connected, of course. Although some TV models don't actually support this feature, and for the ones that do, you may have to dig through both your TV and your Nintendo Switch settings in order to get it to work. But once you do, yeah, it's pretty cool. There's not much to this feature, it's just that, wow, your TV turns on when the Switch does. But it's still kinda cool regardless. Now, while a decent selection of games on the Nintendo Switch uses the Joy-Con's HD rumble, the IR camera is anything but. It's a small little camera located on the bottom of the right Joy-Con that has the ability to identify how far an object is from it, and could even tell the difference between rock, paper, and scissors. And while this sounds cool, I guess, none of it sounds like something that a simple smartphone application off the App Store couldn't do. And that's not even mentioning the camera's overall quality, which isn't exactly anything to write home about either. But the problem with this addition is that it's barely utilized in anything. To prove it, here's a list of 15 games on the Nintendo Switch that uses the IR camera. My point exactly. Nintendo Labo uses it, 1-2-Switch uses it, maybe a few small downloadable games as well, and that's all I got, to be honest. Now, to be fair, I don't know how I would imagine this feature working for games like Mario Kart 8 Deluxe or The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom for that matter, but come on. Nintendo really couldn't have designed more games for this system to utilize the tech more? I mean, come on. Alright, now this one is just pathetic. So for Nintendo Switch Online members, and for compatible games, which is like, 2, you can send an invite to your friends' systems to play against them online. But the thing is, barely any games actually support this feature, and it's really lame too, because this feature is basically a necessity on paid online services, so just the fact that it wasn't available when Switch Online first released and we had to wait a few more years to get it via an update kinda stunk. So what better way to make things worse than by barely supporting it in games on top of all that? I've said it before and I'll say it again. Being a gamer is hell. Now look, I get it. Most people have a smartphone to listen to music on, and from what I know, only a few games actually support this, so why should we be lugging around this pile of garbage to listen to music on that barely fits in a pocket, when you can carry a smartphone which does as a matter of fact fit in a pocket? That was a joke, by the way. It is kinda cool, but the only reason you're listening to music on this thing is if you don't already have a smartphone or some other device to listen to music on. And it is nice to have the option, really, it is, even if it's pretty hard to find more games that actually support this feature, with the only ones I believe having this being Super Smash Bros. Ultimate and Super Mario 3D All-Stars. But let's be honest here, when you have other devices that are quite capable of performing the same action and being far better at that as well, it's pretty much worthless. I'm really choosing the first things that come to mind, aren't I? Now, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I don't know a single game on the system that uses a computer mouse other than Game Builder Garage. It's apparently supposed to make the game making process easier by dragging in and clicking on specific elements to make your games come to life. And yeah, I know this wasn't really worth filling up an entire slot for on the list, especially considering I don't even own the game, so I can't be one of the lucky few to experience the simple pleasure of using a computer mouse on the Nintendo Switch, but please let me keep this. And I know the chances of this happening are very slim, but it'd be really cool if some games like Mario Maker 2 got updated to be supported with the computer mouse to make the level making process easier, or even something a little more basic like navigating or scrolling through menus and all that. And while I don't believe this will happen anytime soon, I'm not giving up on it in its entirety. There's a game on this system that requires you to use toilet paper as a controller. Don't tell me it's not possible. It probably wouldn't make much of an impact if more than one game actually supported the use of a computer mouse, and it would probably still be pretty forgotten, but it would just be a cool little novelty and nothing more. And there you have it. Those are 6 often forgotten features of the Nintendo Switch. Again, some features I mentioned here were somewhat cool, others weren't but still were fairly unknown, making them easy picks for this list. And if you think there's more Nintendo Switch features that I didn't mention and isn't usually well known when discussing the system, please let me know. The Nintendo Switch is full of surprises, and I'm pretty sure I'd be surprised by anything regarding the system, including the fact that the Nintendo Switch is a video game console. That's actually something I didn't know. Holy sh! And that's gonna wrap up today's video. If you enjoyed the video, then please consider subscribing and checking out my other videos on my channel where you'll find more videos like this one. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.